Well, 'tis the Christmas season, and everybody else is doing Christmassy type tutorials, so I thought I would give it a shot. Most of what I have is either from my stash or from the Dollar Tree, and actually some of these were stashed from last year. But so what we're going to be working with today are the ornament balls that come 2 for a pack, or the for the small ones that are roughly about that size. It's I guess about 1.5 inches in diameter, or the larger ones. And so one of the things that I was going to use is some things that you might not think about using. I have a whole bunch of these little soft puffy things that I have not had any use for. I picked them up with a bunch of other stuff at a yard sale, and they've just been sitting in my stash for the better part of 2 years, I think. So when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, I came up with the idea of just using what I had. So I had just a few of these sparkly ones in there, but they make an absolutely beautiful ornament, I think. And so lots of bright, tinsely goodness in there. So the biggest thing I think that you need to do is kind of figure out your theme per ornament. And so like this one was greens. I'm going to see if I can find another one this size, which is the larger one, which I think is about 2 inches in diameter. And do one in red, I think. So I'll have the red and the green for my Christmas tree. This one, actually, I used part of a Christmas card that I didn't have an envelope for, and so I just cut it out probably much bigger than it needed to be, considering the size of the ball, and then cut out the size of the thing. I put the circle, once I made it round, into the card circle, into the ornament. Then I filled the back with kind of colors pulled from the card, the snowy background, the grays and the blues, and the whites, of course, for snow, and just kind of filled up that back so the card would stand up straight. I've seen various ways of doing it, but I didn't really want to pop it on a popsicle stick or anything. I thought that just looked really weird. I will probably do something a little different with it, because the card kind of tends to slide around in there in the circle, and I really want the reindeer to kind of stay where you can see that that's what they are. And then I put some little tiny white puff balls in the front as snow to kind of help the front stay. And you can use it as a snow globe, kind of, which I thought was a very cute effect. So those were my 3 large-sized ones here, and something you can do with old signed Christmas cards that you really like. You can cut them out and use them. If you do 2, you could actually have a scene on either side, and it would help stiffen up your card, and so it wouldn't be quite as loosey-goosey in there. So that's one set of those. And then I have these 2 that I'm in the process of working with. I think first I used all of the tan in this one. At least I had thought. And then I discovered more tan, but not enough to fill up the entire ball. And I thought, wow, that's kind of reindeer colors. So I'm going to be making these some antlers and painting on eyes, and probably gluing on a nose. Or I may just go with the antlers, leave the eyes out of it, and use some invisible string or fishing wire to dangle a little red nose, so that no matter where you go on the ball, you'll get the little red nose. we'll see how ambitious I get. But that's those two, and they are on the hanger already. And let's see, what's the here we go, the other two. I decided to just kind of go with that kind of blue theme for this one, and I just had a bunch of blues and grays, and blue grays, and this one I just went for fun and neon, so it's just got a lot of bright colors in it. And then I made some that had just some of the styrofoam snow. As you can tell, I tried in this one, and it looks more like confetti on the balls. I may actually sprinkle a few in from the top here in a bit, so that the confetti's kind of all through it. But I do not recommend working with the styrofoam balls. They are a pain, and they get very staticky and tend to cling, as you can see up here, even on the plastic, you know. But I had already opened one package of it, so I went and just filled up several of these to kind of be snow globe type things. This one I put glitter in, and as you can tell, the glitter separates. You don't get a whole lot of good coverage in there, so I'm actually thinking I may see what I can do. If I can find a good way to seal this, I may actually see if I can suspend this in like baby oil or something, so that you can get more of the suspension effect that I was hoping to get from the glitter and the snow. But in the meantime, it is what it is, and it just looks very weird. So this is probably going to get painted so that it doesn't look quite as weird, if I can't find a way to suspend stuff. That I just used a piece of paper folded in half as a funnel, and just poured them down in there and made a horrendous mess. So, but the fun for these, they just take a few minutes to make, and just a bunch of these, as I said, from my stash. And so I'm going to make another one of those neon brights, because I have a lot of them and I can't imagine any other real use that I would make for them. So I'm just, you grab the bright color and you just pop them down in, and because of what I'm going for, I'm just going to grab like miscellaneous shades of orange and yellow and pink and pop them in there. Maybe a purple, so get some color in there with some greens. I've got some blues in here, and I can throw that in, and pink, hot pink. You know, you just kind of keep popping whatever comes to hand in through the top, and they just literally pop in there. If you can't get them to pop in there, it's because they're just a little too big, but you'd be surprised at the size you can get in there. When you're talking, you know, almost as big around as the ball is, then you'll find they just don't go in. So you just kind of watch and pop them in as you find what you're doing. And so I'm pinks and all that, and look how fast that goes. It just, you know, and you can stop whenever. You can keep filling them up until they press up against the sides. You can leave enough space in there so they can bounce around. You can try to put them in layers, just like all one color and then the next color and then the next. You could probably get a rainbow that way if you wanted to try and do that. I have a hard time getting them to kind of stay in where where I put them when I try to do but your mileage may vary. You may be able to get them in there and have them lay perfectly, but so far I have failed to be able to do that. The closest I've come is using my scissors here to kind of hold stuff in place in here and or mix them around, you know. And it's not a terribly accurate tool, but it does work. Make sure you use blunt ones and keep them closed. Otherwise, you might end up with unintentional snippets of fluff running around there. I've also occasionally found that using one of the very, very large baby diaper pen things can work when you're trying to get something a little more angled. But for the most part, that's all you need to do. And, you know, shake it up if you need to get stuff moving around in there. Or stuff it full until nothing moves. And then all you have to do is pinch your top and they go right back on there. And so that's how I have been. Yes, trying to do this one-handed is not as easy as doing it with both hands, but I'm holding the camera with the other. Apologies if it has been shaky, and I hope you enjoyed. I don't think I've ever seen anybody else doing ornaments using these, so I just thought I'd share my inspiration. Alright, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and all of that kind of things. Bye!